I've always considered myself a pure top, so I bought a supposedly soft and delicate incubus online. I was just looking for an outlet to vent, but it seems I bought the wrong model. He's handsome and charming, but that part of him is even more prominent than mine. I hid in the bathroom and messaged the seller. Did you guys send the wrong item? Why do I feel like he wants to bully me instead? The seller replied, our products are customized according to user needs. Perhaps you're actually a bottom. I was furious. Whatever, I want to return him. The incubus outside the door heard everything, his fists quietly clenching. From that day on, his revenge began. During the day, he would bring me food and coax me. Be a good boy. Eat it all. Don't leave any leftovers. At night, pressing me down, he would say the exact same words. Chapter 1. I bought an incubus online. The ad said this model was not only gentle and obedient, but with proper training, you could unlock all sorts of positions, and he loved to cling to you and act cute in his free time. For a pure top like me, it was an absolute fatal attraction. I placed the order immediately. To prepare, I specifically bought cute cowprint pajamas, bunny ear slippers, and a bunch of adorable little trinkets. Afraid I'd hurt him the first time, I even did a lot of research, staying up late every night watching tutorial videos, adjusting my glasses as I earnestly took notes and highlighted the key points. A few days later, my incubus finally arrived. But when I signed for the delivery, I was dumbfounded. Standing in front of me, I had to crane my neck just to look at him. This incubus was tall, muscular, and robust, with bronze skin, a lean waist, and an entire aura radiating wildness and lust. This was completely different from what I had imagined. Where was the sweet, delicate, and petite incubus I ordered? Even though his facial features were deep and sharp, making him several degrees more handsome than a movie star, it couldn't cover up my disappointment. He offered his tail in a friendly manner, looking at me expectantly. Master, my name is Cosmo. I had no mind to deal with him and quickly turned to ask the delivery guy. Hold on, did you deliver the wrong one? Don't be sad. It's not your fault. Cosmo looked up, his voice a bit hoarse. Does Master not like me? I hurriedly shook my head. No, that's not what I meant. My gaze involuntarily drifted downwards, and I swallowed hard. You're just a little on the large side. He kept his head down, looking incredibly wronged. Master, don't worry. I'll make you feel good. Seeing how sensible he was, I nodded. He had good self-awareness as an incubus. Even though he wasn't the type I wanted, who said a tall, handsome incubus couldn't be a bottom, we can't discriminate against incubi. As a top, as long as I have perseverance, I can overcome any difficulty. Thinking of this, my mood improved significantly. I patted Cosmo on the shoulder and said confidently, don't worry. Even though it's my first time, I've done a lot of research. I absolutely won't hurt you. Cosmo nodded, his eyes shining brightly. I took Cosmo on a tour of the house, introducing each room. He was very well behaved, following closely behind me the entire time, never leaving my side, like a clingy giant puppy. When we reached the bedroom and saw the massive double bed, I asked him, so, do you like this home? As long as Master is here, I like it anywhere, he said in a low voice, carrying a trace of imperceptible longing. This incubus was actually pretty good at flirting. I coughed lightly, the tips of my ears burning. You should know why I brought you home, right? He stared at me with fiery eyes. I know. Then when do you want to start? I asked tentatively, afraid he might be nervous. I quickly added, I'll listen to whatever you want. If you're not willing, I won't force you. But Cosmo seemed even more eager than me. Whenever you want, Master. He answered without a moment's hesitation, the passion in his eyes almost melting me. Seeing him so open about it actually made me a little embarrassed. My cheeks burned. Then, let's take a shower first. Actually, I had already showered. This was part of the plan. I went to the closet to find some clean clothes for him, only to realize his build was way bigger than I had anticipated. None of the clothes I had prepared beforehand would fit him. It looked like I'd have to buy new ones. For now, I could only find some of my dad's old clothes for him to make do with. While Cosmo was showering, my brother video called me. Our parents passed away early, so my brother is my only family. When I answered the phone, I saw my brother's incubus clinging to him softly and sweetly, rubbing his cheek against my brother's neck. I felt a pang of sourness. We were both people, but we had totally different luck. The whole reason I wanted to buy an incubus in the first place was because I envied that sweet, soft little guy my brother had. I never expected the vibe of my incubus to be completely different. My brother flaunted his affection without holding back. Sorry about that. This little thing is too clingy. By the way, Did your incubus arrive? I stayed silent for a moment before answering honestly. He arrived. But the model is a bit different from what I imagined. My brother asked in confusion. Different how? Covered my face. It's just that part of him seems to be even bigger than mine. My brother went quiet for a few seconds before suddenly bursting into laughter. Gary, how did you end up buying that kind of incubus? Are you actually a bottom? I hastily interrupted. Nonsense. Don't you know me? He cleared his throat and said earnestly. It's exactly because I know you that I'm saying this. Actually, being a top or a bottom is the same thing, no need to be embarrassed. Of course I knew that, but at that moment, my competitive spirit was burning bright. Just you wait. I'll definitely conquer him. I'm taking him down tonight. My brother's incubus suddenly hugged him, kissing his cheek and whining, hungry. My brother patted him gently. Don't be impatient. I'll feed you right now. I asked in confusion. Are you going to cook? My brother raised an eyebrow. Gary, how are you so innocent? Incubi have huge appetites. Good luck to you. Don't let yourself get bullied so hard tonight that you can't even stand up. Laughing, he hung up the video call. I blinked, not quite understanding. Whatever. I opened my laptop, reviewed the tutorial videos I had watched recently, dug out my notes, and adjusted my glasses as I earnestly circled the key points. Cosmo came out of the shower. Black pants hung loosely on his hips, his upper body completely bare. Drops of water fell from the tips of his hair, sliding down his shoulders to his abs. Every single muscle was tight and powerful, radiating an intense surge of hormones. My gaze involuntarily traced down his beautiful V-line, and I swallowed hard. I stuttered a little. You're done showering? Then, let's begin. He sat on his knees in front of me and said politely, Yes, master. I swallowed again, feeling a bit nervous. What was the first step again? I couldn't remember. Actual practice really did make you nervous. Could I take a peek at my notes first? Before I could speak, Cosmo had already started unbuttoning my shirt. He unfastened the buttons one by one, his fingertips occasionally brushing against my exposed neck and chest. I didn't overthink it, figuring this was normal, and simply tilted my neck up to let him unbutton it. Even though I was nervous, I had to act like I was very experienced. Supposedly, that was the only way to give an incubus a sense of security. Cosmo chuckled softly. Master is so well behaved. He pointed at my glasses. Want to take these off? I shook my head. No need. My prescription is strong. I can't see clearly without them. He looked at me deeply and said meaningfully, If you can't see anything clearly, wouldn't it be hard to run away if you took them off? I froze. What? But Cosmo just lowered his head and said softly, Nothing. He undid the last button, then grasped my wrists and gently pressed me down onto the bed. Lying on the soft bed sheets, I suddenly felt that something was off, but I couldn't quite put my finger on what it was. Was this the part where I was supposed to say something flirty? Pinned down by my wrists, lying on the bed, I forced a smirk. Pretty proactive, aren't you? Cosmo smiled and gently leaned down, starting from my forehead, dropping a series of soft kisses. He was a great kisser and it felt really good. Without realizing it, he completely took control of the rhythm, and I started kissing him back. I don't know how much time passed, but his hand slipped under my clothes and started kneading. Even if I was completely innocent, I could tell something was wrong now. I pushed him away hard. What are you doing? Pushed away, Cosmo looked a bit wronged. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Master, was I too eager and made you uncomfortable? I'm sorry, Master is just too enticing. I couldn't hold back. I'll go slower, be gentler, and I won't hurt you. My eyes widened. Everything he just said was exactly what I had prepared to say. The lines I had learned from the tutorial videos, he was just spouting them effortlessly? This wasn't right. I didn't dare stay alone with him anymore. I scrambled into the bathroom and locked the door. Shaking, I pulled out my phone to contact customer service. When no one replied to my messages, I just called them directly. When the call connected, I lowered my voice. Did you guys send the wrong model? There's something wrong with this incubus. Dear customer, what exactly is the problem? Is he not pretty enough? It's not about being pretty or not. He's just a very rare type. I gritted my teeth. To put it bluntly, I feel like he's trying to force himself on me. The seller checked the order. But all our incubi are custom-made according to user metrics. Could it be that your true attribute is a bottom? Panicked, I ordered a soft, delicate incubus. This is clearly not what was advertised. The seller explained, maybe we made a mistake. How about you try adjusting to each other first? Who knows? Maybe you'll end up liking it. I insisted. I don't care. I want to return him. The seller was very accommodating. Okay, we can process a return or exchange. Hearing that I could return him, I breathed a sigh of relief. As long as I can exchange him, that's fine. The seller continued. However, we need to go through the proper procedures. The return/exchange will be completed within 30 days. During this period, please review the feeding manual and don't let the incubus starve. Also, do not tell him you are returning him. This incubus's attribute card shows he is extremely possessive and has a somewhat heavy vengeful streak. I hesitated. I had to wait 30 days? Whatever, as long as I could exchange him. I said, fine. Please process it as quickly as possible. Chapter 2. Hanging up the phone, I pushed open the bathroom door and immediately met Cosmo's gaze. He was standing with his back to the light, half his face hidden in shadow. His eyes were dark and unreadable, inexplicably a bit terrifying. I didn't know if he had heard my conversation just now, and I felt a bit guilty. He stared at me intently and asked with a smile, Master, shall we continue? Felt like he saw right through me. I stuttered. And no continuing. If we continued, I might be the one getting eaten clean tonight. Cosmo lowered his eyelashes, looking like a dejected large puppy. I scratched my head, so awkward I didn't know how to face him. Suddenly, my stomach growled, breaking the silence in the room. Cosmo let out a low chuckle, his voice carrying a unique magnetism. Master is hungry? I'll go prepare something to eat. I knew absolutely nothing about cooking and always worried I'd poison myself. So even if I bought groceries, I wouldn't cook them. The house was filled with instant noodles everywhere. Cosmo, still shirtless with an apron tied casually around his waist, strode into the kitchen. He had a tall, straight posture and a broad, solid back. You could clearly see the line of his spinal groove. The kitchen, unused for a long time, finally had some life in it. His movements were practiced, every step of the cooking process flowing naturally. He looked very much like a good, domestic family man. Soon, piping hot food was brought to the table. There was pork rib soup stewed until the meat fell off the bone, melt-in-your-mouth steamed egg custard, and even the simple stir-fried greens smelled incredibly fragrant. It tasted way better than my instant noodles. I picked up my bowl and started eating heartily. Cosmo sat across from me, his eyes so gentle they looked like they could drip water. With a hint of doting, he asked, Master, is it delicious? I made sure my eating manners weren't too sloppy, grabbed a napkin, and wiped my mouth. Don't keep calling me Master. My name is Gary. He nodded, a smile in his eyes. Remembered, Master. Since he liked calling me that so much, I stopped correcting him. Putting down my chopsticks, I asked, Cosmo, what do you think of me as a master? If you think I'm no good and haven't met your expectations, I can help you find a new master. His expression suddenly turned serious. I think Master is very good. The best master in the whole world. Seeing him speak so earnestly suddenly made me feel guilty. When he finds out I decided not to keep him, he'll definitely be very disappointed, right? A trace of bitterness welled up in my heart. But at least for now, I should treat him a little better. After eating, Cosmo proactively went to wash the dishes, while I silently put away my little notebook. What a shame. All those things I learned from painstakingly watching so many tutorial videos wouldn't be put to use for the time being. My brother video called me to check in. He opened with, So, how did you get along with your incubus tonight? Does your waist hurt? His tone carried a hint of schadenfreude, as if he couldn't wait to see me get tossed around. Afraid Cosmo would hear, I quietly went upstairs to the balcony and smiled bitterly. Don't bring it up. My incubus wants to sleep with me. Bro, you're the lucky one. The one you have at home is my ideal type. Suddenly, the sound of plates shattering came from the kitchen. My heart clenched, and I yelled, Cosmo, what happened? Are you okay? Are you hurt? His voice was muffled. I'm fine. How strange. Being this far away, he shouldn't be able to hear my conversation with my brother. Feeling a bit uneasy, I asked my brother, How good is an incubus's hearing? My brother frowned and thought for a moment. A C-rank incubus's hearing is about the same as a normal human's. An S-rank is different. Their abilities in all aspects are far superior to humans. I breathed a sigh of relief. With my financial situation, I could only afford a C-rank incubus. I continued, Good thing I already applied for a return and exchange. Bro, hurry up and teach me how to raise a sweet, considerate incubus like yours. Just then, a pale arm reached into the video frame and pulled my brother over. It was my brother's incubus. He kissed and rubbed against my brother, whining, Brother, tell me the story again of how you chose me out of all those incubi. I was so incredibly envious. My brother rubbed his head. I just sent in my information. The seller matched me with him, and I fell in love at first sight. It was that simple. I was green with envy. Why is your luck so good? I really hope I meet the right incubus next time. The next second, the sound of shattering bowls came from the kitchen again, accompanied by a faint, suppressed groan. I didn't care to continue the video call and quickly ran downstairs to check if Cosmo was hurt. It seemed my incubus, despite knowing how to cook, wasn't very good at washing dishes. That night, to avoid any accidents, Cosmo and I slept in separate rooms. I don't know when I fell asleep, but in my dream, I vaguely heard a childish voice calling me, brother. I remembered a little incubus I found in the rain when I was 18. Back then, because my parents had passed away, I suffered from severe depression and engaged in serious self-harm. He arrived at just the right time. A tiny body huddled in the rain, covered in dirt. 18-year-old me suddenly felt a protective urge. I reached my hand out to him. Little thing, want to come home with me? It wasn't until I brought him home and washed him clean that I got a clear look at him. He was unimaginably beautiful, a literal face of a god. Hearing he had been abandoned, I kept him at home and named him Henry. I was in college at the time, renting a place off campus. During the day, I went to class and Henry stayed home reading books I couldn't even understand: Western economics, advanced calculus, philosophy. Those complex theories were like hieroglyphics to me, but he read them with immense interest. At night, we held each other to sleep. My eyesight was very bad. Without my glasses, everything was a blur. He touched my face and said, "If you can't see anything clearly, wouldn't it be hard to run away if you took off your glasses, brother?" I didn't think much of it. I don't know about running away, but if I take off my glasses, I definitely can't tell who's who. He couldn't help but laugh, then asked, "When I grow up, can I give my heat cycles to you?" Patted his head. "You're so young. Why are you thinking about things like that?" He covered his head, a bit wronged. "We incubi mature very quickly, many times faster than you humans." With his company, my depression gradually improved. Then one day I came home, and Henry was gone. The neighbors said he was taken away by a group of wealthy and powerful people driving cars that normal folks like us could never afford in our lifetimes. I ran out into the rain alone, crying and searching for him for a day and a night. Later, someone contacted me, and I found out Henry had been taken back by his family. They offered me a check as compensation, but I refused it. I only hoped to see him every week. But they said that Incubus was an S rank, holding a noble status, and wasn't someone an ordinary person like me could associate with. They threatened that if we met again, they would destroy my studies and my life. They even sent me all my private information, my home address, school, friends, and family's info. I admit it, I was scared. That rainy night, Henry called me, crying. "Brother Gary, I'm sorry. I will definitely come back to find you." I held the phone, thought for a long time, and finally hardened my heart, saying coldly, "Forget it." He froze. I gritted my teeth, my heart aching terribly. "I've always seen you as a burden. I never wanted to see you at all. Now that you've been taken away, I'm finally relieved." After saying that, I fought back my tears and hung up the phone. Thinking back on it now, why would an S-rank incubus come back looking for me? He probably forgot about what happened back then a long time ago. It's fine, things are pretty good the way they are now. I can live a good life on my own. It took me a very long time after that to readjust and become a healthy, happy person again. In the middle of the night, I woke up from my dream with a start. I rubbed my hair, wanting a glass of water. Passing by Cosmo's room, I heard uncomfortable, muffled groans coming from inside. I quietly opened the door and went in. I saw Cosmo lying on the bed, his complexion looking terrible. Sensing something was wrong, I reached out to feel his forehead. He was burning up. My heart clenched, and I grabbed his hand. "You have a fever. Let's go to the hospital right now." Cosmo grasped my wrist and shook his head. "No need for the hospital." He lowered his eyelashes. "This is normal. It's fine. I just need to endure it for a bit." I grew anxious. How can this be fine? But he still refused to go. At a loss for what to do, I hurriedly called my brother. "My incubus has a fever, but he refuses to go to the hospital." My brother was silent for a moment. Is it possible he doesn't have a fever, but is actually going into heat? I remembered the description of an incubus's heat cycle in the feeding manual. So it wasn't a fever, his heat had arrived? I pressed my lips together. But I can't possibly sacrifice myself for him. I'm a top. My brother yawned. "It's fine, it's just a heat cycle. He can just endure it and it'll pass. He won't die." Panicked. "How can we do that? He looks like he's in so much pain." My brother. Then you'll sacrifice yourself for love? I immediately raised my voice. That's not an option either. My brother laughed. Just kidding. You can also relieve it by kissing and hugging him. Kissing and hugging work too? Great. It was time to show off the results of my studying. Step 1. Take off his clothes to cool him down. I carefully unfastened his buttons. Cosmo grasped my wrist, his voice a bit hoarse. Master, what are you doing? I moved his hand away. Stop messing around. I'm getting down to business. He looked at me with hazy eyes. The corners of his eyes were red, making him look exceptionally enticing. Master, you know that doing this will make me unable to hold back from wanting to. However, the next second, I had already pulled his shirt down from his shoulders. Wow, his abs are gorgeous. Perfect like an in-game character model. I couldn't resist reaching out and touching them. Cosmo let out a muffled groan. I felt a bit embarrassed, but considering he was still in heat, I wrapped my arms around his waist and lay face to face with him on the bed. He looked at me. Master, I said, I know you're in heat. I'm your master now. I can't just watch you suffer. Will it feel a little better if I hold you? His eyelashes fluttered. Then he gave a soft laugh and pushed his luck. Not enough. Master needs to kiss me too. I recalled the key points about kissing from my little notebook. Excellent, the knowledge I learned can finally be put to use. I tilted his chin up, just about to kiss him. His tail wrapped around my waist. He leaned in, gently licked my lips, and then deepened the kiss. He was a great kisser. I was kissed until I was dizzy. By the end, my lips felt like they were going to break. I pushed him away a bit unnaturally. You don't seem as hot anymore. I'm going to leave now. He suddenly hugged me tightly from behind. I asked, what's wrong? His voice was muffled. Master, don't move. He buried his face in the crook of my neck, the tip of his nose rubbing against my skin. Just like this. Just let me hold you for a while. Why did it feel like he was inhaling me? I stayed frozen in place, letting him hold me. I heard his extremely soft sigh. Master, you're so good. Master. I don't know if it was just an illusion, but my heart was beating so fast. I can't remember how long he held me that night. Long enough that my consciousness blurred. He said softly, Master, don't abandon me. Brother Gary, I won't let you become someone else's master. That last sentence was too quiet. I didn't hear it clearly. When I woke up that morning, Cosmo looked to be in great spirits. Strangely, I was the one running a slight fever. Cosmo went to the kitchen and made me fish porridge piping hot. I didn't have much of an appetite, so he fed me with a spoon. Be good. Take one more bite. Right then, the seller called. Guessing that the paperwork for the new incubus was finished, I told Cosmo, I'll eat by myself. You can step out for a bit. Cosmo looked at me for a long time, finally lowering his head. Okay, he said in a muffled voice. After he left, I quickly answered the phone, feeling a bit of anticipation. The seller laughed and said, Congratulations. The paperwork for the new incubus is done. He'll be delivered within 3 days. I was thrilled. That's wonderful. The seller sent a photo of the new incubus. In the photo was the exact type I wanted, looking soft and squishy. I was incredibly satisfied. My heart is melting, he's too cute. He's exactly my type. The seller chuckled. Seeing that the customer is satisfied, we can rest easy. MHM. Very satisfied. The seller continued, I'll send you his attribute card and feeding manual shortly. Make sure to take good care of him. Will do. My heart bloomed with joy. I felt like my sickness was completely cured, suddenly filled with energy. Chapter 3. I got out of bed, pushed the door open, and saw Cosmo washing my underwear with a straight face. For some reason, I felt a little panicked. How was I supposed to tell him I was returning him? I tiptoed past him carefully. Cosmo suddenly called out to me, Master. My heart gave a jolt and I slowly turned around. What's wrong? He just gave a faint smile. Nothing. There were 2 days left until the new incubus arrived. I went out happily, ready to buy gifts according to the new incubus's preferences. A fluffy little blanket, buy. A strawberry patterned cup, buy. Cheese-flavored cookies, buy. But right before I swiped my card, I suddenly stopped. What was going on? I was about to get the exact incubus I wanted. Why wasn't I happy? I messaged the seller. If I get a new incubus, what happens to the current one? The seller told me, he'll be disposed of course, or sent to the reclamation center to be brainwashed. Once an incubus acknowledges a master, it's very hard for them to accept a new one. No one wants an incubus like that. My heart instantly sank. I suddenly remembered that night, Cosmo holding me, burying his head in the crook of my neck. I remembered how my heart beat uncontrollably when he held me. I asked myself over and over, was I really not moved at all? Could I really accept Cosmo being sent away? Could I really bear to do it? Would brainwashing hurt? Where would Cosmo be sent to be brainwashed? I asked myself, is this really what I want? Will throwing Cosmo away really make me happy? Finally, I slowly made up my mind, clenching my fists. Forget it. Let's just leave things as they are. I don't want the new incubus. This one is perfectly fine. Please cancel my return request. After making this decision, I found myself feeling unusually calm. I returned home. Cosmo was wearing an apron, cooking all my favorite dishes. Today was my birthday, and he had prepared a candlelit dinner. There was also a birthday cake on the table with my name written on it. Cosmo stood by the dining table, looking at me gently, his eyes so soft they looked like they were going to melt. My heart felt warm. Actually, a life like this wasn't bad. No wonder my brother rarely left the house anymore, sticking to his incubus all day. While we ate, Cosmo kept putting food into my bowl. Master, eat more. You're too skinny. I didn't notice the imperceptible trace of gloom hidden in the way he looked at me. After eating, I leaned back in my chair, lifted my shirt, and patted my stuffed belly. Cosmo smiled and asked, Master, are you full? I nodded. I'm full. Suddenly, my phone started ringing nonstop. The notification sounds were frantic, like they were demanding my life. Confused, I picked up my phone. It was a barrage of messages from the seller, looking incredibly anxious. This is bad. Our database was hacked. We just realized we don't even have an incubus named Cosmo in our store. Are you okay? Did something happen to you? Did Cosmo do anything to you? What? I tried to stand up, but a wave of dizziness hit me, and I fell heavily back into the chair. Cosmo, you. Cosmo stood in front of me and gently covered my eyes with his hand. Master, be good. Just take a nap and everything will be fine. The next second, I lost consciousness. My phone dropped to the floor, my vision went black, and I passed out. I don't know how much time passed before I slowly opened my eyes. I struggled to sit up and looked around. The decor before me was luxurious and unfamiliar. This wasn't my room. Where was I? Just then, the sound of steady footsteps echoed from deep within the hallway. Crap, someone's coming. My heart pounded frantically, and I nervously hid in the corner. The next second, the door was gently pushed open. Cosmo walked in. He was wearing a high-end, black-tailored suit. The silver cufflinks peeking out from his sleeves glinted with a cold light. Every movement he made exuded nobility. Seeing Cosmo like this made me feel like he was a complete stranger. Standing beside him was a man who looked very powerful. But at this moment, that man was looking at Cosmo with deep respect. There was even a trace of unspeakable fear in his eyes. I recognized him. This was the man who had given me a check all those years ago, threatened to destroy my future, and forced me to break up with Henry. Cosmo shot the man a cold glance, and the man immediately froze in terror, rooted to the spot. Cosmo walked in and gently closed the door. I was stunned. Cosmo, why is it you? What are you doing? Cosmo's gaze fell on me, and his icy eyes instantly softened. I'm sorry, Master. I scared you. His voice trembled slightly as he looked at me with an almost obsessive intensity. I just didn't want to give you away to someone else. Just the thought of you letting someone else be your incubus, sharing your affection with someone else, made me go crazy with jealousy. Just because of that, I massaged the bridge of my nose. Let me go. I didn't get another incubus. But he didn't believe me. He gave a bitter smile. Master, you're lying again. Dishonest children must be punished. The moment the words left his mouth, he grabbed my wrists and pinned me to the bed. An aggressive kiss crashed down on me. What are you doing? I pushed him away hard, my cheeks burning beet red with anger and embarrassment. Cosmo gritted his teeth, his breathing heavy. I saw you buying things for him, holding his photo like a treasure, touching it and kissing it. Brother Gary, this is the second time you've abandoned me. But this time I won't let go. I felt a bit embarrassed. I wasn't touching it and kissing it. Wait, Brother Gary? I froze. A flood of images suddenly flashed through my mind. You're Henry. Cosmo smiled bitterly. I thought of so many ways for us to reunite. I was afraid you'd hate me, so I originally wanted it to be more romantic. But when I heard you were ordering an incubus, I couldn't hold back anymore. So I used this despicable method. I hacked into the system, swapped your order info, and replaced the incubus that was supposed to be sent to your home. I wanted to keep staying by your side. Gary, don't chase me away. I can't leave you. I froze in place, a whirlwind of mixed emotions hitting me. How could this happen? Cosmo was Henry. The Henry the First had missed day and night, the Henry the First thought I would never see again. My Henry was back. In that moment, I remembered him leaving without a word all those years ago. I remembered those agonizing days. I remembered those powerful people who could easily destroy my life like crushing an ant. I remembered that rainy night, fighting back tears as I said those cruel words to him. The joy of regaining what was lost, mixed with grievances, unwillingness, and longing, all surged up at once. My nose stung, and my eyes instantly turned red. Suddenly feeling incredibly wronged, tears slowly welled up. Cosmo thought I hated him. He frantically wiped my tears away, his fingertips trembling. I'm sorry, I know I shouldn't force you, but I just couldn't control myself. How could you not want me? How could you abandon me? How could you go buy another incubus? He hugged me with obsessive dependency. You are my master. You can only be mine. Held tightly by him, my cheeks burned, and my body tensed involuntarily. Just then, I clearly felt a certain part of his body grow hot and hard against me. I blushed. Even if I was dense, I knew his heat cycle had arrived. I shrank back a little. Sensing my retreat, Cosmo carefully took a step back. Don't be scared. I have suppressants. Suppressants. I remembered what my brother said. When an incubus goes into heat, if their master isn't willing, they'll inject themselves with suppressants. But I heard it was agonizing, and using them long-term was bad for their health. Looking at his red-rimmed eyes, my heart clenched. I reached out and grabbed his wrist. Don't take the medicine. Aren't you uncomfortable? Didn't we agree? When you grew up, you were going to give your first heat cycle to me. He froze. While he was dazed, I stood on my tiptoes and proactively kissed his lips. In an instant, a jolt of electricity ran from my lips through my entire body. Rationality slowly melted away in the intense heat of emotion. Next thing I knew, I was pinned beneath him in a daze. Clutching the bedsheets, I tilted my neck back, cooperating with his every movement. Naturally, we went all the way to the very last step. This time, it felt very deep and very special. Even though I didn't get to experience being on top, it seemed being on the bottom was actually pretty comfortable. When I woke up the next morning, my back and waist ached. Cosmo sat beside me, gently massaging my sore lower back. But it seemed he still hadn't shaken off the fear of being abandoned. He lacked a sense of security, always afraid I would leave. He set me up in a luxurious mansion. I felt like a canary kept in a cage. But he took incredibly good care of me, and I was free to roam the mansion. He even gave me a black card with no limit, letting me shop in his family's commercial district, as long as I came home on time at night. With $3 million a month in allowance, I couldn't possibly spend it all. Bought off by money, I peacefully accepted my role as the passive partner. At dinner one night, I saw the man who had threatened me all those years ago. His hair had gone a bit gray, and he looked at me with immense respect. For some reason, I felt like a fox exploiting the tiger's might. My brother, unaware of the situation, called to ask how I was getting along with the new incubus. Cosmo heard it and didn't say a word, but it seemed he decided to take his revenge on me. During the day, Cosmo would gently feed me. Be a good boy, eat it all, don't leave any leftovers. At night, he would say the exact same words. It wasn't until I cried and showed him the proof that I had canceled the order that he finally let me go. I also explained to my brother that I wasn't switching incubi. The current one was perfectly fine. My brother asked again, so how are things going with your incubus? Have you two made it official? Cosmo leaned in and wrapped his arms around my neck. Master is definitely the one on top, of course. I'm on the bottom. My brother's eyes widened. Oh ho, Gary, look at you go. Wouldn't have guessed it. I coughed lightly. Keep a low profile, keep a low profile. After hanging up, Cosmo leaned close to me. Master, I want it. I planted my foot on his abs. Not doing it. My waist hurts. He grabbed my ankle and gently pressed down on me. I'll let you be on top tonight. I was tempted. However, this being on top was a bit different from what I had in mind. Turns out it was just a position. I cried, begging him non-stop to let me go. But my glasses had been taken off. Even if I wanted to run, I couldn't escape, and I'd probably just end up crashing headfirst right back into his arms. My brother was right. Incubi really do have huge appetites. But there was nothing I could do. I picked him up myself, so I could only spoil him. If you enjoyed this story, remember to subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much.